welcome everyone to the lecture number 8 of Animal Kingdom. And in today's class, we would be discussing about phylum Chordata. Okay, in that phylum, we would be discussing about 5 different groups, that is about the fishes, amphibia, reptiles, birds, and mammals. So, in addition to these 5, we would be having some sub classification of phylum Chordata, which the first part would be discussed in today's class. So mainly today we would be discussing about phylum Chordata, about the class Pisces, about the cartilaginous fishes and bony fishes, which is referred to as a biological term you will use as the Chondrichthyes and the Osteichthyes. Okay, so this is the lecture number 8 of Animal Kingdom. Those who are brand new to the channel, don't forget to join our Telegram group t.me/neet_biopoint, where daily session updates, regular polls, quizzes, and mentor doubt clearance takes place. Same, not repeating. Hope you all have done this initially itself. So this is the playlist for Living World, 3 lectures along with 2 NCRT marking. Animal Kingdom updated playlist is there. Okay, so this is a lecture number 8 along with 1 NCRT marking have already been completed. So let's get into this subphylum Vertebrata. Subphylum Vertebrata. What is Vertebrata? I will tell you. So, what are vertebrates? Vertebrata, you can tell like those organisms that have a notochord, you will call them as the vertebrates, right? So, those organisms that have a notochord during the embryonic layer, but those is replaced by a bony vertebral column is seen in vertebrates. So, vertebrates is mainly divided into 2. Okay, vertebrates is mainly divided into 2. What are the 2 classification of vertebrates? Agnatha. Okay, Agnatha and Natha stomata. Agnatha and Natha stomata. Okay, these are the 2 different classification of phylum, main classification of phylum vertebrates. So now a doubt will be there. What is Agnatha and what is Natha stomata? We will tell that right now. Agnatha means those organism that lacks jaw. Okay, these organism which is belonging to the group of Agnatha, they do not have jaws. Whereas Natha stomata means they bears jaw. They bears jaws. So that is the first classification. Agnatha is subdivided into class Cyclostomata. Agnatha is further classified into class Cyclostomata. What is Cyclostomata? Those organisms which does not have a jaw. Okay, so class Cyclostomata. And at the same time, Natha stomata is again classified into 2. That is, what are the 2 classification? Class Pisces. Okay. Okay. So you can divide them into class Pisces and class Tetrapoda. Okay. Class Pisces and Tetrapoda. Class Pisces is again divided into 2, that is cartilaginous fishes, which is Chondrichthyes, bony fishes, which is the Osteichthyes. At the same time, Tetrapoda is classified into 4. Okay, Tetrapoda is classified into 4, that is Reptilia, amphibia, or amphibians. Class Aves. What do you mean by class Aves? It includes, it includes what? Birds. Okay, class Aves, that includes the birds. And last but not the least, that is the mammals. That comes under the class Mammalia. So this is actually the classification of phylum Vertebrata. So it is divided into Agnatha, that lacks jaw, and Gnatha stomata, which is that bears the jaw. Agnatha is divided again into class Cyclostomata, whereas Gnatha stomata is divided into class Pisces and Tetrapoda. So let's discuss this in the slides. Okay? Yes. That is vertebrates. Vertebrates can mainly be divided into two, that is Agnatha, which is a jawless organism, and Gnatha stomata, which is the organism that bears the jaw. Agnatha organisms would be like exactly like a fishes, but they are actually, they don't have any mouth. Actually, they do not have any, they have mouth, but they do not have any jaws. So their front portion, or their portion of the mouth, would be like this. Okay, the upper view of it would be like this, inside in which it bears teeth like structures. Okay, we would see the structures in detail. You will find a structure like this. Okay, yes, that's up to here. So Gnatha stomata is actually divided into superclass Pisces that bears fins and superclass Tetrapoda that bears limbs. What do you mean by Tetrapoda? Tetrapoda means four pairs, not four pairs, four limbs or four structures. So Agnatha, which is a jawless organism, is divided into subclass Cyclostomata. Chondrichthytes. What do you mean by chondrichthytes? Their body is made up of cartilage. We might have also heard cartilaginous fishes and bony fishes. So Osteichthyes is the bony fishes. So Chondrichthyes is a cartilaginous fish, and Osteichthyes is the bony fish. Amphibia, that lives both in land and water. Reptilia, reptiles. Aves, and mammals. What do you mean by aves? Aves means they are the birds. So you have a lot of things towards the last of this chapter you have to by heart. Okay, so cyclostorms, you have to study the characters of the cyclostorm, some unique features and the examples. Whereas in chondrichthyes and osteichthyes, you have to study a comparison between the two types of fishes, cartilaginous fishes and bony fishes. Whereas in amphibia, reptiles, aves, and mammals, you have to study the characters, common name along with their examples. So let's first of all move with subphylum Vertebrata, and today we would be discussing about the class Cyclostorms. All are ectoparasite on some fishes. What do you mean by ectoparasite? Ecto means what? Outside. So they are located outside. Maybe like attached to something like this. This is an example for an ectoparasite. Look, it is not found inside the body. It is found attached to the outside surface of the fish. So they are called ectoparasite. They are ectoparasite. They have an elongated body without scales and paired fins. Okay, even though they are coming under chordata also, that is related, something which is related to fishes also, you cannot find any kind of scales or paired fins. Look guys, this is a structure. They do not have any paired fins or any other scales on their body. This is what I told. They have a circular mouth. This is how they attach. Okay, just like some stickers and all, they'll attach just like that. Their mouth does not have any jaws, so they'll attach it like this. And this is the way they get attached in the body of fishes as ectoparasite. Okay, this is a very important statement and a previous year NEET question. This is a previous year NEET question. That is, cyclostorms have 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits for respiration. NEET 2020 question. Phase 1. Okay, NEET 2020 question, phase 1. As you all know, NEET 2020 has 2 phases, 1 and 2 due to this COVID. NEET phase 1, 16 to 15 pairs of gill slits for respiration are found in class Cyclostomata. Okay, sucking and circular mouth without jaws. Very, very important. Sucking and circular mouth without jaws. Cartilaginous cranium and vertebral column. Circulation is closed type. They are generally marine. They are exclusively or generally marine, but migrate for spawning to freshwater. What is spawning for? Laying eggs. Okay, for laying the eggs. Okay, even though they live in the marine habitat, they will go migrate. Okay, they will migrate towards fresh water. After spawning, the parent organism, okay, suppose this is the parent. After reproduction, this parent organism die and only the offspring would be formed. This after metamorphosis will return to the oceans. And when they get reproductively active, they will also migrate towards the fresh water for laying the eggs. So I hope this slide is clear. Each and every point is clear. Once again, I'm telling you that this is the ectoparasite. Elongated body without scales or paired fins. 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits for respiration. So this is the gill slits. Small structures like this. 6 to 15. 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits are there. Sucking and circular mouth without jaws. Cartilaginous cranium and vertebral column. Closed circulatory system. They are marine, but they migrate for spawning to fresh water. The example is Petromycin lamprey and Myxine hagfish. So two examples which are very important question for previous year NEET. Okay, previous year NEET question, Petromycin lamprey and hagfish are examples of animals that does not have jaw or that have a circular sucking mouth without jaws. Okay, they are examples of class cyclostomes. This is the Petromycin. Look at their mouth. This is the Myxine or hagfish. Look at their mouth. Okay, everyone. So this is the external gill slits. That is how many gill slits are present? 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits. 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits are found. Okay. So that's all about cyclostomes. And next we are moving on with the superclass Pisces. Superclass Pisces are those organisms that bears fins. It can be divided into two types, class Chondrichthytes and class Osteichthyes. Chondrichthytes means their body are divided of cartilage. Osteichthyes means their body are bony. Look at the wide range or wide variety of organism which is found around us, right? Yes. So superclass Pisces which bears fins, they can be divided into class Chondrichthyes, which is actually cartilaginous fishes, and class Osteichthyes, which is actually the bony fishes. I'll show you the image for them clearly. So you have to study the differences between class Chondrichthyes and class Osteichthyes. This is the class Chondrichthyes. Their body is made up of cartilage. Their body is made up of cartilage, whereas in Osteichthyes, their body is made up of bones. Guys, these things are bones. Okay, this is actually cartilage. And let's move on to point number 1, that is they are marine. Class Chondrichthyes, they are marine with a streamlined body and predaceous. Actually, shark and all, they'll just eat upon, they'll predate other organisms, right? But Osteichthyes, they are both marine and freshwater with streamlined body. This is a very important. Chondrichthyes are found only in marine environment, whereas class Osteichthyes is found in both marine and freshwater environment. Next sentence or statement is cartilaginous endoskeleton is present. In class Chondrichthyes, cartilaginous endoskeleton is present and the notochord is persistent throughout the life. Important. Whereas in Osteichthyes, you will observe a bony endoskeleton. You will observe a bony endoskeleton. So marine and freshwater, Both have streamlined body. Chondrichthytes have a cartilaginous endoskeleton and notochord is present all throughout the life. Osteichthyes is bony endoskeleton. Osteichthyes consist of bony endoskeleton. Okay. Next, class Osteichthyes, they have ventral mouth. They have ventral mouth with powerful jaws. What do you mean by ventral mouth? That is this part. That is at the bottom side only. At the bottom side of their body only, you will find the mouth that is on the ventral part. Ventral means the lower part, just like here. You'll find the mouth over at this position. This shaded region, you will find the mouth. That is a ventral mouth. But look at the mouth in case of Osteichthyes, they have got a terminal mouth. That is at this point. Okay, at this point itself their mouth. That is actually the terminal mouth. Okay, everyone. And in case of Osteichthyes, you will find operculum is there. Okay, operculum is present. Look, the gill slits of shark is actually visible. The gill slits of shark is externally visible because they are not covered by operculum or there is no gill covering present. Whereas in case of Osteichthyes, there are 4 pairs of gills with operculum on each side. Okay, operculum is present. You might also have seen your mother may have removed. You might also have seen your mothers may have been removing this operculum regarding the same forward for removing all the unnecessary materials from inside the fishes. So look, the gill slits are not visible. They are externally covered. They are externally covered by an operculum. Okay, so these are the 2 points. Next, the skin is covered with a placoid scale. Look, these kinds of scale, placoid scale, their skin is covered by the placoid scale. Teeth are modified placoid scale which are backwardly directed. Look, they are all backwardly directed. They are not just like this pointed object. They are all actually backwardly directed. Okay. And no air bladder is present. NEET 2020 question. Air bladder is present in class Osteichthyes. Okay, what is the function of air bladder? Air bladder helps in maintaining the buoyancy. That is, it helps them to swim, to maintain a balance, and it helps them to swim. And you also have learned that the skin is placoid scale. The skin is covered with placoid scale in case of chondrichthyes, whereas in osteichthyes, the scales may be cycloid or ctenoid. Okay, so you have to remember this point, which is very, very important. Look, guys, this is a cycloid scale. This is a ctenoid scale. You might have observed this particular structures. Okay, so class chondrichthyes, placoid scale, no air bladder. Class osteichthyes, cycloid or ctenoid scale, air bladder is present. So in case of chondrichthyes, they have to swim constantly to avoid sinking. Okay, so the fishes, the shark and all, they cannot stop themselves from swimming. If they swim, what happens? They will actually sink down. Just like how the boats and all will sink, they'll also just sink. Even their body weight is very high, so even though they do not have an air bladder, to maintain buoyancy, what do you mean by buoyancy? The ability to float above the water. So if they do not have that property, what happen? It will sink. But in case of osteichthyes, whenever they need, they can swim. Otherwise, they can remain on the surface of the water because they have an air bladder for maintaining the buoyancy. Both are cold-blooded animals. What do you mean by cold-blooded animals? They do not have the ability to change their body temperature with the surrounding temperature. Okay, they are supposed to live only in one kind of temperature. So if they are changed, if any kind of temperature changes occur, they'll automatically die. But in case of human beings and aves, that is birds and mammals, what happen? They are hot-blooded or warm-blooded or homeotherms. Okay, cold-blooded is actually poikilotherms and warm-blooded is actually homeotherms. Homeotherms, they have the ability to maintain their internal constant body temperature. They have the ability to maintain their body temperature as a constant. That is, if Cold comes, what happens? They maintain their own body. They have self mechanisms to regulate and control the temperature of their inside environment. So when the surrounding is cold, what happens? They will start what? Shivering. So when the body temperature is high, when the surrounding temperature is very low, that is very cold, what happens? Our body starts shivering. It is a kind of body temperature maintenance. Shivering actually produces heat. So that heat is used for maintaining the normal temperature of our body. At the same time, if you are living in a very hot area, what happens? You will actually continuously keep on sweating. What is actually the function of sweating? Sweating has one more function, that is, in spite of removing the excretory product, it has one important function, that is, it provides a cooling effect. Okay, it is also a mechanism for maintaining the body temperature. So in case of class Chondrichthyes, they have two chambered heart. In Osteichthyes also two chambered heart, that is one atrium and one ventricle. Okay, this is a structure, guys. This is the atrium, this is a ventricle. What are poikilotherms or cold-blooded animals? That lack the capacity to regulate their body temperature. Then sexes are separate. That is, male and female fishes are separate in cartilaginous fishes. Sexes are separate in bony fishes also. The main important point in chondrichthytes, the male bears pelvic fins, bears claspers. This is a claspers. Okay, this is actually an organ. Okay, an organ which helps them. Okay, the claspers are present. They show internal fertilization and viviparous. Important point. Class chondrichthytes, they show in males, they show pelvic fins bear claspers, internal fertilization and viviparous, whereas in osteichthytes they show external fertilization, mostly oviparous with a direct development. Guys, this is the female ovary of a fish. Okay, this is the female ovary of a fish. This is the male testis. This is the male testis of a fish. You might have seen this while your mummy will be cutting the fishes and all. You might have seen the female ovary will be like this, having a crisp appearance in touch, whereas the male testis would be soft as compared. Okay. So let's discuss what are the main examples. That is Scolidion, which is the dogfish. You have to study both the term. Okay. Scolidion, which is a dogfish. Pristis, which is a sawfish. Pristis, which is a sawfish. Then the great white shark. Okay. The great white shark, that is the Carcharodon. Okay. Carcharodon, which is the great white shark. It is also an example for class Chondrichthyes. Next, after that, you have the trigon, which is a stingray. Trigon or stingray, it is a poisonous sting. Then, a fish that have an electric organ, it is a torpedo, which is referred to as the electric ray. So, these are previous year MCQ, which is very, very important. Previous year NEET MCQ, which is very, very important. This would be a short session because only 9 to 10 slides were there for you to display. Okay, and the concept were very simple. That's why this session would be very short. Okay, so what are the examples? Dogfish, great white shark, pristis, which is a sawfish, trigon, stingray. The last two are very important. Trigon, stingray, which has a poisonous sting. Then next one has an electrical organ, that is the torpedo. At the same time, in case of class Osteichthyes, you have to divide them and you have to study. So what are the division? Let's move on. Marine fishes. Marine bony fishes, Exocetus, which is a flying fish, and hippocampus, which is a seahorse, is also an example for marine osteichthyes. Then freshwater fishes such as labio, which is a rohu, catla, claris. Guys, you have to remember one thing, that is in case a NEET 2013, in NEET 2013 a question was asked. Okay, in case of a fish named catla, this is a scientific term for catla. Okay, in terms of, okay, in the scientific term for a fish catla, what is the speciality associated with this scientific term? So the answer is chatinum. Okay, tautonym. Clear, everyone? And at the same time, ratus, which is another rat. Okay, the scientific term for rat is also genus and species term. Both are the same. Ratus. This is also an example for tautonym. They can be asked for you in the examination. Okay. In Catla, both the genus and the species name are the similar or the same. Such kinds of organism or such kinds of binomial names are known as tatonyms. And the example is Catla, which is the freshwater Osteichthyes, and Ratus. It's another example. Then, what are the different fishes which you use in aquarium? They are all Chondrichthyes. That is a beta, which is a fighting fish, and pterophyllum, which is angelfish. Very beautiful, right? Fighting fish and all you might have seen, right? Labio, Rohu, Catla, Claris, Hippocampus, Exocetus, and Pterophyllum. These are some of the examples of the superclass fishes. Okay, so this is a structure for which fish? You can easily find it out. You can easily find it out. Why or how you can easily find it out? Look, they have ventral mouth. Sorry, they have a terminal mouth. They have a terminal mouth. So terminal mouth is the characteristic feature of Osteichthyes. Okay, one second. It is a characteristic of what? Osteichthyes. One second, I'll write it. Okay, don't worry. Osteichthyes. And one more important, air bladder is present. Air bladder is also present in Osteichthyes. So in next class or next part of the chapter, that is part number 9, we would be discussing with the superclass Tetrapoda about class Amphibia, class Reptilia, class Aves, and class Mammalia. We would be discussing in the next class. What are the different things? That is Amphibia. Okay, frog is actually belonging to amphibian. Then salamander, that is chameleon, belongs to reptiles. Birds belongs to aves, and tiger, leopard, and all those things belongs to class mammalia. So that is the tetrapoda having bears 4 limbs. Clear? So that's all in today's class. So thank you guys. See you in the next class with a super amazing session. Bye everyone.